Hi, I'm Jonathan Knight, and this is B-Movie Madness. The movie I'm going to review tonight? Let's find out. Let's see what I got here. Some beef jerky, nasty coleslaw, some Mike and Ike. Ooh, found the movie. None other than one of my personal favorites that I like to recommend, Dead Dudes in the House, or as the cover calls it, The House on Tombstone Hill, or as the on-screen title calls it, The Dead Come Home. This is a movie with several titles. But the title that most of us know it as, most of the people who've seen it, is Dead Dudes in the House, which is the title Troma gave it. And they also created a very misleading poster that had all these hip-hop teens standing in front of a house, none of which actually appear in the movie. And the movie doesn't even have hip-hop teens in it, they're just regular old teenagers. And it makes it look more comedic. The title, both the poster and the title, make it more comedic than actually is. There's some funny parts to it, but it's not as comedic as a lot of other Troma titles. In this case, a Troma pickup. I did a Troma video way back in 2012. I did a review of my Troma collection, and I mentioned this movie and how I would like to see a better version of it released. Thankfully, Vinegar Syndrome heard me, or heard somebody, say this movie deserves a better release, and they gave it 6 years later. They gave it a brand spanking new Blu-ray release, and I'm telling you what, the only way to watch this movie is this version, because the Troma DVD was very murky, it was dark. I still enjoyed it, but this version made me appreciate the movie a lot more. Before we ramble on a little bit more, let's say what the movie's about. It's about a group of teenagers who decide to repair and renovate an old house, and one of them knocks over a tombstone that's in the, I think, backyard, and ends up awakening the spirit of the old lady who used to live there, who also happens to be a murderer. So one by one she starts murdering these kids, and when she murders them, they come back from the dead. And she also traps them inside the house, so nobody can get inside the house. People get inside the house, they can't get outside the house. So ultimately, one by one, she starts murdering all of them, and who survives? You have to watch the movie. Like I said, I've always been a big fan of this movie. It's a movie, one of the movies I like to recommend to people who are like, I need to see a horror movie that I've never even heard of, something new, or something old that I haven't seen. And I always mention this movie because it reminds me, it's very Evil Dead-ish, you know. People are trapped in a place and they can't get out. And it reminds me a lot of Demon Wind, which is one of my favorite like horror movies of all time. That people have never heard of. It's so damn good. And I would put this right next to Demon Wind. Vinegar Syndrome also put that out and remastered it, so these people really, love us cult horror people. But as for, it's very entertaining, very fast-paced. It's 93 minutes, and, almost immediately it starts. As soon as the kids get into the house, the old lady awakens and starts murdering them, and it's non-stop. There is not one boring second in this movie, at least to me. And I will say the old lady, who was actually played by a guy in makeup, is very creepy. There's some parts of the movie just very, very creepy. Not scary, but just creepy and unnerving a little bit. And also the movie is very, very gory. Like I said, the Troma DVD was murky and dark, so it really couldn't really appreciate some of the gorier moments in it. This one, everything is so detailed and nice looking. There's lots of gore. Ed French, who did the special effects for Sleepaway Camp, Blood Rage, in the Tales from the Dark Side TV series, he did the special effects here. The old lady makeup looks fantastic. There's all kinds of dismemberment, people getting their hands cut off, get impaled, get chopped in half by broken windows. It's just really gory. Much gorier than I expected. I wouldn't say it's Evil Dead gory, but it is pretty gory, especially for such an obscure title. The cast is pretty good. There's not anyone in particular that I thought did a real bad job. It didn't distract me, but I also wanted to say anybody did a particularly great job that they impressed me. The guy who played the old lady was really good, though. I believe he also played one of the kids in the movie. I think the first one that's actually killed. But he was really good. He did these weird facial movements where he's like, boyfriend's blood. It's on the wall. Paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact dialogue, but it's just really creepy. And the music is great. Actually, the music is pretty effective too. The opening scene, there's an opening scene that takes 40 years before the rest of the movie. That's pretty effective. I'm trying to think of the music, the direction by Jay. I think he's credited as Jay Raphael. Raphael, I'm really pronouncing the name poorly. He's credited as James Raphael, but he's credited as Jay. And he hasn't really done much, and it's really sad because this is. I would like to see him do more of this stuff. This came out in '89. I'm not totally sure when Troma actually got a hold of it. It was filmed in '88. It's listed as '89 on IMDb. But like I said, Troma might have not picked it up until years later. There's a couple movies they did. There's a movie called Frostbiter, which I want to really review one day. That was filmed in '87, '88, and wasn't released by Troma until '95. Or they didn't pick it. They picked it up and they released it in '95. And I think this movie may have came out. And I've heard that it was like a cable movie, a cable favorite, but I didn't hear about it until the late '90s. And then I bought the DVD from Troma. And I'm like, this is a really good movie. This deserves a better release. And Vinegar Spooner's like, I hear you, bro. We're going to give you one. I'm really rambling on right now. Try my best. But, here's the special features. This is to let you know special features. It was remastered in 2K, and it looks fantastic, like I was mentioning earlier. There's interviews with the 3 of the actors in the movie, including the actor who played the old lady. There's an audio interview with the director. I'm not really sure why he didn't do a commentary. This is like a 42-minute interview done over like still photos. There's behind-the-scenes photos. I really wish they could have an interview with Ed French, who did the special effects, because he's done interviews for Sleepaway Camp and Blood Rage, but not this one. So I would really like to see him do that. But they didn't. But still, I'm so grateful they released this remastered, because this is a movie that, I think, like much like Demon Wind, I think a lot of people who really like these, like, obscure late 80s horror films, or in case of Demon Wind, early 90s. It's basically an 80s movie. I think people really enjoy them, and I think this is, like, the best way to watch it. If you really want, I think it might be on YouTube. And if you really want to give it a shot and see if you like it, and before you buy it, you might be able to rent it too. I don't know. I think Vinegar Syndrome might have their own streaming channel, but I'm not sure. And if Vinegar Syndrome, if you're out there, please put Frostbiter and Evil Clutch on Blu-ray. They need to be remastered. They need to be seen. Evil Clutch is so much fun, and it looks dark and murky, much like Dead Dude's House on DVD. But a lot of fun, a lot of gore. If you're a fan of Evil Dead and movies like The Evil Dead, if you like Demon Wind, highly recommend checking this out. If you just want to see a creepy old lady walking around and butchering teenagers for an hour and 33 minutes, you could do much worse. Really much worse. And if you really just want to just get some popcorn, get your favorite beverage, sit down, just have some fun, man. Because although it's not perfect, it is a lot of fucking fun. And I highly recommend it. If you want to do a double feature, this and Demon Wind. Do them both. As for anything else, I'm Jonathan Knight, and this is B Movie Madness. Thanks for watching.